I am at the new store location for Retro Games Plus in Lawndale, California, and I'm going to check out this new, beautiful place to buy video games, toys, and collectibles. Let's go.
Welcome. Yeah, he's already working hard.
Wow. A few years ago, a brand new retro video game store opened up in Huntington Beach, California, and soon after they opened, I had to come visit it, had to check it out, and met their owner, Kris. Kris is someone who has become a personal friend of mine, and I am so excited for him because he has opened a brand new store.
So this is the new Retro Games Plus, number 2 out here in California, number 5 overall. This one is up in Lawndale, right across the street from Torrance. Double the size of the Huntington Beach store.
This place is much bigger.
It's always fun building these out. These are like my favorite thing to do, honestly. Similar themes, kind of the way it's set up, but yeah, tons to see here.
Kris has invited me to come and check out the new location before they open up to any customers. Let's see what they got. Immediate first impression of the place is just how much bigger it is than his current Huntington Beach store location. A lot of the inventory he's brought over from Huntington, but there's also a lot of new stuff as well that I've never seen before. Boxed consoles, Pokemon cards, toys, collectibles, figures, and tons of stuff are everywhere. One of the best things about Kris's store is that he is priced so competitively. You played this before?
I've never played it. I assume it's probably a gun con game.
Yeah. It looks that way. If you were to go to eBay or to Kris's store, you'd likely get a lower price every time at Kris's store, but not only that, he's just friendly. The atmosphere is really welcoming. It's not like people are behind the counter just kind of irritated at you. What would you guys say to someone who wants to work at a retro video game store?
It sucks, bro. Don't do it. I need my hours.
This is his 5th store location that he's opened up. And not only that, but he's involved in a ton of other stuff within the community.
I'm partners on Retro World Expo, which is in Hartford, Connecticut. I would say last year was the best show we've ever done, and this year was by far the best show.
Why was this by far the best?
It was just the overall vibe, the attendance was up, people just having so much fun.
What are some things that you do at Retro World Expo that make it stand out?
We do wrestling, like full wrestling ring. We do, again, game shows like Press Your Luck, Super Millionaire, which are like video game themed. We had a dance crew come in to do like a dance battle on stage this year. Tons of tournaments, a lot of like just entertainment stuff. The auction this year was amazing. Full house, like 300 people bidding on items.
Kris has got a few things that I think make them more unique at Retro Games Plus than at other store locations. One of those things is Kris has a lot of VHS tapes. Kris also curates them very specifically. A lot of the stuff here might be things that only ever came out on VHS that never saw releases on DVD, Blu-ray, or 4K, or are on streaming platforms. One of the coolest things at the store is right when you walk through the front doors.
These were I honestly almost call it a gift from Riff, even though I did pay for them. They were in need of some work. Came out pretty good. I painted them all. They still need a little bit more work. I'm still working on the signs.
These are original cabinets that Kris spent a lot of time fixing these things up to look as good as new, and they look awesome.
These are a few signs in the original Nintendo. This one was in the plastic here. This one will probably hang up. This one's pretty nice, big, 4 foot. Hang it up right up here.
One of the things that people are really into right now with retro video games is collecting retro game t-shirts. T-shirts that came out in the 80s and 90s from their favorite Nintendo era products. People are spending hundreds, if not over $1,000 for these shirts.
We've been doing vintage shirts for a while now. And by vintage, it was kind of like the whole gamut of vintage, but we really wanted to like cater this more to like a lot of pop culture, a lot of video game tees. All original. These are not reprints or anything, but mostly like 80s, 90s, early 2000s video game tees. And there's some like banger tees back here. This is a Doom 64 shirt. This one I love. This is a Duke Nukem shirt. I'm a big fan of Ren and Stimpy. Super Mario 64. Rampage 2. This is a pretty good shirt. This is a TurboGrafx 16 Devil's Crush, obviously. This is a pretty hard to find one. This one dates back to the 80s.
This is all of a sudden a hugely valuable commodity.
Video game shirts in general were just, they weren't sold like in Walmarts and Targets generally. So a lot of them were mail-aways, promo shirts that were given away with the purchase of a game. So they're kind of like harder to find than just regular shirts that were sold. Kind of goes hand in hand with, if you're a video game collector, you want to wear, you know, I get to wear my what I like all day and get comments from people And so there's a big market for it. It's really grown in the last couple of years, I would say.
Most uniquely is this Nintendo World Champion shirt, and there's something really cool about this.
This is an original Nintendo World Championship shirt that was sold at the conventions when they were traveling across the country. You can tell the difference because this has Donkey Kong versus the remakes have Link at the top of this. This is an XL, which was really hard to find because most of them were kids' shirts. They were sold to kids.
Is it framed because you are selling it, or is it just for display?
Just for display. I tried it on, it didn't fit too well. So I said I'll frame it.
Nice.
I mean, I have some of my personal stuff that just came in if you want to see personal stuff.
Oh. You got a sealed puppeteer?
Mort Worms, you know that one. Sealed Atogi 2?
Are you going to grade that?
CGC just came out with their grading stuff, so maybe. These are all sealed. These all get traded into the store.
No kidding.
I just tuck them away, yeah.
Forever Kingdom. I've never
even heard of this. That one's sealed.
That is my favorite game of all time.
Good PS1. That one's a good one. Oh man, that one. I've never played it. I played Roll of Rose. This one I actually want to play.
Now, if you're at a retro game store, you've always got to ask to see what's in the back room that hasn't been put out on the floor yet. Oh, look at... No, you lie. Look at all this. There's something back here that's really interesting. In 1999, when Pokemon Snap came out, there was a kiosk that was at Blockbuster Video. It's estimated to be that about 4,500 of these were made, and you would go to Blockbuster, you would take your cartridge or your memory card, you would plug it into this kiosk, and then you could select different photos that you had taken in-game from Pokemon Stadium or Pokemon Snap, and then you would be able to print out 16 different stickers that are about the size of like a postage stamp. Collectors today really love finding this machine, and there's one right out in the middle of the store. There's a specialized paper that was made for these kiosks. How did you get all those boxes of Pokemon Snap printer paper? Finding that paper anymore is near impossible. So as Kris is talking about the printer paper, I noticed behind him in the corner of the back room, there's a second Pokemon Snap kiosk.
This one needs some love.
Wow, so you have two of them. I've not met many people who've had or seen one of these, let alone two of them in their possession. When I was in high school, I really wanted to work at a video game store, but it never worked out. And so I'm always curious, what's it like to work here?
One story that I always think of every time I think about working at the shop is the time this guy, he came in, he was shirtless and sweaty. He really wanted to sell a Wii remote to us. And I told him, no, I can't buy it. I'm sorry, like it was in really bad condition. It's just one Wii remote, can't do it. And he's like, wow, this guy's eyes are messed up. He needs to go talk to somebody about that. And he goes to my coworker, and my coworker's like, yeah, I can't buy it. It looks pretty messed up. He's like, oh no, this is terrible.
We don't want the...
He throws it at the floor. He's like, no, it's really broken. And he stomps out of the store all mad. And he came back the next day with a bunch of other stuff to sell, like nothing happened.
Now I gotta see if there's anything in here that I want to take home for my collection.
You are the first one.
Oh! Whoa!
You are the first one to be in here.
Do I get to be the first customer at your new store if I buy something today?
You would be the first customer.
I bought the first item at Kris's store, which made it the most successful store in existence for retro games. Okay, this is the rare variant of Dance Central. It's actually worth $739, but he's got it priced at $5. I'm gonna see if he'll take two for it. Here's a game I've literally never seen in this kind of a box. I have this game. It's a common game, but I don't have the case or manual. This one is complete with the manual and the bonus disc. I just did a YouTube short about Turok Evolution and how it's a terrible game that I still love. I might get this because I'm curious about the version differences between this and the GameCube one. It's my favorite bad game, and it's not really even a bad game, it's just furiously mediocre. But if you like shooters and you love Turok, I have a lot of fun playing this one. The review said the GameCube version was the most stable. It had the best frame rate, good enough graphics, so that was the one to get, whereas the Xbox one had maybe a little bit better graphics, but the frame rate suffered. Really, this is just a curiosity for me. I'll probably end up reselling it at some point for the price I paid for it here today. This game was so hyped when it came out because there's a demo disc of this little game called Final Fantasy VI. V11. Tobal number 1 is a Squaresoft fighting game that is actually really interesting. You have to learn the combos and you have to set up your combos. It works well with defense and parrying. There's a rhythm to the fighting in this game. It's more calculated rather than button mashing. It's like Virtua Fighter, but I think the movement on this felt a little smoother. The flow of it is really good, and one of the things that really helps with the flow of the fighting in this is that it runs at 60 frames per second, so it's a super smooth experience. And it has that Squaresoft look from this era with the way that these characters are designed with, you know, big shiny polygons and the way that they move and animate. This game is still relatively affordable, probably because the sequel, which came out after it, is regarded as one of the best fighting games on the system, but it's a Japanese exclusive. This is a Natsume release called Connect Tank. I'd never seen it before. It looked interesting, but it looked like one of those just kind of almost puzzly type of games. It looks like Overcooked meets Tetris. I don't know if that even makes any sense. At $18, this was worth picking up and seeing if it's any good. This is Trick Style for the Sega Dreamcast. It is developed by Criterion, who are the same developers that would go on to make the best racing game ever made, Burnout 3 Takedown. This is not the best game in the world, but I bought this because I already have the game, but I don't have the manual, and now I've got a complete one for the collection. Thanks, Retro Games Plus. Kris, I'd like to buy these games as the first purchase ever at your new Retro Games Plus store. They don't know where any of their stuff is because they haven't even opened up yet, but I'm still determined to be the first customer at this location. $81.
81. How about $50 as the first customer deal? It's pretty good.
He's saying $50 on this. Now, as your first customer, I also want to give you money to pay your employees and do your store, but
Yeah.
$50, that's incredible.
Pretty good deal.
That's a great deal.
Deal.
I'll do
Yeah,
that.
sure.
Thank you very much. I assume that the next part of this process is that there will be a picture taken of me and placed somewhere prominently in the store that people can look on and bask in, so that there can just be a little sense of envy that they were not first, but Mort was. Oh, but wait. There's more.
You rang!
No, I'm just finishing up this little segment here.
Are you talking about Chris's new shop?
Yeah, the new Retro Games Plus store.
The new Lawndale location?
Yeah.
Is that the one you're talking about?
Chris's new store.
K-Dog's new store.
Yeah.
K-Doggy Dizzle.
Yeah, the new Retro Games Plus store.
How's your throat?
Yeah, I'm good.
Do you need any refreshments?
Yeah, I'm good.
I got a sparkling water if you want. Lime raspberry flavor. Your favorite.
Okay.
You're killing it out there.
Right on, bro.
Little crusher right here.
Right on, bro.
Crush.
Okay.
Smashing it.
Yeah.
Slamming the dunks.
Right on, bro.
Right on, bro.
As I'm leaving, I notice a basket of manuals, and I gotta dig through them really quick because I have a few boxed NES games that don't have their manuals. This Dr. Mario manual is autographed by someone named JJ. I can only assume Abrams, the famous Hollywood director. So, in case you're wondering, I have the childhood copy of JJ Abrams' Dr. Mario on NES. I have the manual right here in my box, and you don't. I'd like to thank Kris and the whole crew for welcoming me into the store. I hope that you have a wonderfully successful run at this new location. Everyone needs to go check it out. Everyone needs to go visit them. They are wonderful people, a wonderful store. They will give you great deals. I can guarantee that. And you have yourself a lovely rest of your day.
You rang? Jeez. You rang? You rang? Are you talking about Chris's new shop? I got a sparkling water. Slamming the dunks. Real winners, watch more. Right on, bro.